Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday. Hard to believe, just a couple weeks for Christmas. It is the season. The real estate market is moving, believe it or not, in December. It's usually our slowest time of the year, but it seemed to pick up. East Tennessee's picking up, and a lot of things going on in the housing market. And we've got a great show for you, as always. We're talking about the 8 rules of real estate that never fail in any market. So we're going to talk about some things that will be helpful whether you're buying or selling, tried and true, whatever state you may be in. Maybe you're coming from a different state. We've got some news on why so many people are relocating to East Tennessee. I thought there were some helpful points there, why we're getting and expecting in 2026 an inflow of more people relocating to our great states. And if you're in the area, it's not hard to see around 5 o'clock or traffic time, either you're on Palisippi Parkway or you're on 40 or the interstate. You just happen to see all the people, all the madness. And in our area, Hardin Valley out there, it's more chaos. So it just seems like there's more and more people and not enough housing, right? You see that not enough housing market because more people coming in this area. So what do we expect in 2026? We're talking about that. Good show. As always, we've got some congrats. Some new listings, been very busy, some closings, and let's start off that before we get going in the show. All right, new listings on 1062 Bell Pond over in Hardin Valley. Brand new listing there, 37932. Make sure you check that property out. 1214 Little Elk Creek and Pioneer, great one-level rancher. Just have a new price on that at $279,950. Make sure you check that property out. And new listings coming, but they're going to be coming next week. We got 214 Tanglewood Road out in Harriman. Make sure you check that property out. Beautiful cabin out in Gatlinburg, 647 Krista Place, Gatlinburg. Check that out. And then 2081 Kerr Road in Sevierville. Congrats to our great pendings, 2459 Hawks Nest in Sevierville. Beautiful cabin out there. Went under contract in just a couple weeks. 3708 Tilda Hilltop Way in Sevierville, luxury cabin out there under contract. 1808 Spring Hill Drive. Congrats to them going under contract. George Harrison and Seymour, large tract of land, almost 19 acres out there under contract. Congrats. And Long Branch Road property went under contract in Gatlinburg. Congrats. So a lot of things moving all throughout East Tennessee. We cover a wide range. So if you're tuning into Real Estate with Ryan, we cover the Knoxville market, the Sevierville market, pretty much East Tennessee, about an hour and a half out. So, Ryan, why do you drive so much? I don't know. But we've been on the radio for 7, 8, going on 9 years, somewhere in that range, and it's been a long time. And so we have such a wide audience that covers all of East Tennessee, and there's some of our commercials and things like that. And so we're really a firm believer, and I enjoy it. Part of our business, we've got 2 locations, but really being involved in our great area of East Tennessee, not just, hey, just West Knoxville, right? It's the Smokies. I was up the other day. I had a chance to take some property, a cabin that we've got new construction coming on the market in Gatlinburg. Took a few moments just to sit up on the mountain, look at the snow on the back of the mountains. But it was beautiful, beautiful. And it's change of scenery. We got some beautiful lakefront properties that we've got. So it really just gives us a change of venue. And then also knowing the market truthfully. You know, as a real estate market, we're talking about today 8 rules of real estate that never fail. And one of those are going to be always get an agent that knows your market. So if you're buying, selling, all these different markets, you know, real estate is obviously super, super hyper localized, right? I mean, it's in a certain area. You know, what the Knoxville or the East Tennessee housing market is totally different than Houston, Texas, right? And so in this area, it's so important that you have an agent that knows all aspects of the market. That's a team that can support you, especially with the market going all over the place. I think that's safe to say. I did want to give you an update today before we get going. Interest rates. So feds are looking for December quotes. A great time in December. Ho, ho, ho. Looks like the rates are going to drop and adjust. And mortgage rates started to adjust today a little bit. So applications were down. Let's see what I saw. That the mortgage rates dipped this week to a 30-year fixed rate, averaging 6.28, down previous from 6.32 last week. Anytime we're seeing in the market a little bit of moving rates, we're seeing contracts move. We just threw out a whole bunch of contracts there in just a short period of time. So good to see that. I thought that was imperative. Last year versus this time, I thought that was very imperative. The 30-year fixed rate last year, almost a year ago, 6.84, now 6.28. And they vary, right? Our 15-year versus last year, 6.10, and we're 5.5. So those are really good signs. We're trending that way in 2026. A lot of news out in the housing market. Is it going to be a housing market where it's going to be a reset? Is it going to be a rebound? We don't know. Nobody really knows. And so what I thought was most important is really to cover these topics that will be helpful as we move on as the season changes. So a lot going on. Let's talk about, before we get going, thank you for tuning in. Obviously, you can always find Real Estate with Ryan every Saturday. Make sure you turn into our great partners out there. Talk Radio 92.3 FM, AM 760 at 11 a.m. Also streaming live on their Facebook channel. News Talk 98.7, 1 o'clock. Every social channel, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. We've got it covered. You can always listen to Real Estate with Ryan. Great opportunity there in case you're busy with ball games. So we got some ball games this week. Coaching our kids from boys to girls. They keep us hopping, man. We enjoy it. But time goes quickly, as all you guys know. All right, let's talk about rule number 1, getting into the housing market. What we're going to do, buy based on life, not the market. I thought that was so true. Buy based on life, not the market. You know, a lot of us watch the market, the stock market, the housing market, what the Fed's going to do. One of the most important things is because people move, life changes, not interest rates. Right? People move because of life changes, not the rates. And it's so important. Helping some great people that are selling, downsizing, different scenarios in their life, and they're moving not because of the interest rates, because things in the season. You know, the real estate market is always going to have people coming in and coming out. And so that's important to focus on that, whether you're buying or selling. Understand that. Right timing is personal, job, kids, schools, and lifestyle. Isn't that so important? Why do we think the spring market is so impactful? Why is it important? Because kids, schools, and lifestyle really focus on that part. Also think about not waiting too long. Waiting too long can cost. You know, I was looking at an article the other day, and that the younger generation in today's housing market, that the average buyer that is a first-time buyer is getting into the housing market is almost 40 years old, lower 30s. And with everything being so expensive, we have the younger generation still living at home with parents because of the affordability factor. But waiting too long, it doesn't look like the housing prices are going way, way back. Can cost you. So if you can get into a homeowner, if you can get into a plan, you know, I always encourage young guys to reach out to us. If you have a plan, we can put you on a plan, whether it's credit, to improve, to save, to budget, you know, because you can get into your home ownership or your first house. Maybe parents have to do you a little gift. It's not uncommon. I'm sure we'll be there one day. Be a great opportunity to get in there, get that appreciation, because waiting too long, as you can see, prices doesn't look like they're going to change. So it'll be a valuable opportunity for our first-time buyers, okay? We also have opportunity number 2. Focus on affordability, not comfort. I thought that was big. Focus on affordability, not comfort. So what do you mean, Ryan? Payment stability. Don't chase a quarter of a point or interest rates. Marry the house. This is a good one. Really think about it. Marry the house. Date the rate. I thought that was a good point there. Marry the house, date the rate. Remember, as anything, interest rates, our great friend Dave Ramsey talks about that. You know, you can get into a house, get the right opportunity, get the right buying opportunity, get the right location, right schools, maybe close to doctors, maybe school's not even a factor. Refinance flexibility is always going to be there. The market is going to change. It's going to happen. Real estate goes up, real estate goes down, interest rates go up, go down. So fall in love with the house that you have. Make sure it's where you want to be. And those rates, as long as it's within your payment guidelines, will be there. How do you calculate your comfort zone? Comfort zone will be, you know, obviously, if you can't put furniture in there, you can't furnish it. If you're feeling like that you're not comfortable in that payment and it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. You know, and if you're a married couple, obviously get together, pray about it. Make sure that you guys are on the same page. I thought that was so important. Let's go to number 3 before we go into the break. Location is the foundation talking points. It really is. Location, location. Real estate is the number one thing. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, real estate, location is the best. Worst house in the neighborhood? Obviously, you don't want to be the most expensive or the biggest house in the neighborhood. All those things kind of come into play. But location is your best opportunity in real estate. Got a few minutes coming for the break. We're going to talk about the other 4 or 5 topics of why now is the opportunity. We'll be right back with Real Estate with Ryan.
When speed matters, every second counts.
Wow, that was fast.
In real estate, speed is an advantage.
In football, speed is crucial.
In softball, speed is game-changing.
If you want your home sold fast,
Trust Ryan Coleman and his team at Hometown Realty for fast results.
Thanks, guys. Go Big Orange.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. Back at it, second half, Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for staying tuned with us. We're talking about 8 rules of real estate that will never fail in any market. I thought that was very, very important and a good segment to talk about. Before we get going, let's get our 60-second Vol update. Get going with that. All right, drum roll, please. Let's see what we got going on. The Vols in action. We got the next women's home game, Winthrop versus Tennessee Volunteers at December 14th at 2 p.m. Food City Center. Ladies are in action. Make sure you check those guys out and gals. And our men are playing Louisville. That's going to be a big game, 16th at 7 p.m. That's what we got for our Vols. As you always know, Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. So basketball season's going. I meant to tell you before we got there, trying to cover a lot in a short period of time. But make sure we really appreciate everybody following us all year from our football, our giveaways. We've got somebody coming in and getting autographed. We're getting some pictures today. Really enjoy. I see a lot of pictures of everybody going into the game, families, and I really appreciate that. It's fun stuff. Glad that we can send you guys. We really enjoy it. We love our little give back to it. I know it's just a ball game, but some people have never been to a Vol game. Sometimes they're busy. Times are tight. Cost of tickets are outrageous right now. And so it was an opportunity for us to kind of give back and go support our Vols. So we really appreciate seeing that. So make sure you follow us for men's and women's tickets all year. All you got to do is like, share, and follow our page. We're sending you on the house. So we pick 2 sets of winners every week before the game. So just like, share, and follow our post, and you're entered to win. Doesn't cost a thing. So great opportunity there, and just want to remind you of that. Let's see here. My team was reminding me, and I think it's important as we go into 2026, the housing market, one of the opportunities moving forward, why East Tennessee continues to attract out-of-state buyers. One of the things, some of the things we're successful for, we're marketing, some of the things that we do at a high level is reaching out to people across the country. You know, ever since COVID, we've got a lot of buyers and sellers. Tennessee's been a great area to move for a combination of reasons. You know, lower home prices, our property taxes across the U.S. It's relatively, it's very affordable. You know, and we always complain about that increase in tax assessment, but overall, in some areas like New York, New Jersey, I've got clients coming here and go, this is a steal, all the taxes are nothing. So a great opportunity. No state income tax. I mean, I came from a state where in Virginia where they tax you if you breathe. You know, no offense, but it's no state income tax. So there's a great opportunity there. And of course, we've got a lot of things here with the beauties of the lakes, the Smokies, and so many things going on. Relatively low crime really is what we're seeing more people that we're anticipating moving other states coming to our area. And I think it's so important that if you're selling this year, putting your home on the market, or looking for a home, that you got a great agent that knows this market, that can reach across the states, reach these buyers, specifically target them, and bring them into your property and welcome them to East Tennessee. Be our new neighbors here. And I always say that if they're coming in from another state, they just got to get used to the color orange. I mean, it really is. It's a great color. Maybe it ain't for some people, but you'll grow on you. And I see a lot of people at games and things, and once you go to your first Vol game or football or basketball, and you'll be a Vol for life. And so I think you really enjoy it, and that's why we do it. So keep that in mind as we branch out in 2026, what to be expecting, where we're going in the housing market. We're talking about opportunities in the housing market. Number 4, time in the market beats timing in the market. I thought that was a good topic. So timing in the market beats timing in the market. So talking points on that, we'll be predicting where bottoms don't work. Peaks and bottoms don't work. You say, well, what does that mean, Ryan? Well, we got the peaks of the market. We're down. We want to, obviously, as a buyer, I want to buy it at the lowest price. It's hard to time exactly the bottom. But as now we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years, we shared with you in the first segment how the interest rates were last year almost 6.87. Now we're at 6.3, 6.2. That's a big difference. We rolled out a lot of closings, a lot of pendings that you saw just this week. And so you're seeing that opportunity, maybe the November housing market was not where we wanted to see, but we're seeing an uptick in the housing market, at least in our office here in the last couple of weeks. And that may be rolling over into the 2026 season. Long-term owners build wealth through multiple ways: improvements, updates, principal pay down, appreciation is your friend. And obviously there's a lot of value if you can stay in the home 5 to 10 years. A lot of opportunity there. Number 5, we're talking about segments here. Price it right from day one. And I know that's hard. You know, one of the biggest things in anything that we're selling is price. You know, from as simple as a $4 bottle of water the other day to gas, to food, to groceries, to housing, obviously, right, to mortgage, all these things. Price it right on the day one. Because the consumer always knows, right? Consumer's going to shop. I always tell everybody, you're buying or selling, the market will always dictate what it's worth. And so if you're buying or selling today's market, the market's going to tell us if we're right or we're wrong. First 7 to 10 days, first week or two, in anything that you're selling, specifically real estate, that we know the average days on market in the Knoxville housing market in East Tennessee is about 2 months, 57 days to be exact. So those changed. First 2 weeks are where there's most impressions. So be critical. Make sure that if you've hired an agent other than us, right, that you listen to their guidance. I think that's one of the biggest things is, you know, you hire a professional for that guidance. Lean on your teammate. Lean on your partner. If not, why hire them, right? Right? If you want to do it yourself. You got it. And that's nothing wrong with that. We see that all the time. But if you got a team, trust your team of professionals, because we're in the market all the time, and that market's changing every day. And so it's so important with that you don't miss a beat with that, because if you overprice it, we may lose days in the market, dangers of chasing the market with price reductions. I'm sure you've seen plenty of properties, they're on the market, and they keep doing reductions. Smart pricing strategies work, and making sure that you have an opportunity to be in the right position so the buyer can go under contract pretty quickly. Talk about marketing. We won't spend a whole lot of time on marketing, but make sure that you have an agent that's being able to reach across the states, that you have the virtual tours, that you have the walkthrough tours, that you got right photos and photography. We got a great client that's coming up, going through a rough situation, and I looked at some of the pictures that he sent over to me before we came out and do pictures. And I said, listen, in today's market, our buyers in your area is probably coming from out of state, maybe some local buyers. If the presentation is not online, if it's not compelling, right, it's not selling. And so we're better to wait to have it on the market, to have it in the right presentation mode, than not put it on the market. So those are very key. Make sure it's in the right presentation. Number 7, it's important. In today's market, we run into a lot of changes. Lenders are changing. Interest rates are changing. When the market gets tough, what happens? Lenders start becoming tightening on their guidelines. Make sure your buyers are pre-approved. Strengthen negotiations, avoiding headache, heartbreak, right? I had to turn down a showing the other day on a higher price property that just weren't approved, weren't ready to go. It's one of these properties that are, higher end, upper $4 million. And so they weren't approved. We don't want to waste the seller's time. You don't waste the agent's time or the buyer's time. Get them excited about a property that maybe doesn't make sense. Pre-approval is key. Investors, number 8, cash flow first, appreciation second. In today's market, if the numbers don't work on day one, they won't work magically later. Rent demand in stable neighborhoods is key, right? Making sure that when you're buying a property that the market is changing quickly. What you thought was a good price may not be a price that we got. We bought a property in Maryville and may have overpaid for it, truthfully. But that's something that as an investor, make sure that that area and what you have demands in the appreciation, right? So what may not cash flow today, but it may cash flow, in a year or two. And that right by is location, though, right? We all know location, that may make a difference, right? All those things kind of come into play as we're going there. So those are our segments there. Hope we covered a lot, kind of a recap of everything that we chatted with. Let's see. Let's kind of recap with this I thought was important. Number 1, buy for your life, not the news. Number 2, focus on affordability. I thought that was key. We all know location is key. Time in the market beats timing in the market. Price your home right from day one, right? Market your home like it matters. Presentation matters. Buyers come in pre-approved, nowhere to be. Investors, cash flow first, appreciation second. But sometimes the location makes a difference, and you may need to hold it. So those are opportunities. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If we could ever be of any help, you know where to reach us, ryancoleman.org.